At LavLab, we have just tested the Navimow i220 LiDAR Pro, and in this video, we are going to tell you what we honestly think about it. And if you are interested in this product, its link is just below the video. This robot mower is massive, with large dimensions and a high weight of 18 kilograms. This is partly explained by its solid design because with its IP66 certification, it is resistant to rain, garden hose jets, and dust. Designed to be all-terrain, it is equipped with 3 drive wheels underneath its structure, 2 at the front and 1 at the rear. We also find the cutting disc with its 6 blades covering a width of 22 centimeters. On top of the robot, a large stop button allows it to be stopped in an emergency. There is also the display screen and 4 buttons to navigate the menu. Finally, at the front, we find the AI camera equipped with a light and the LiDAR sensor. To secure the device, you must enter a PIN code on the control panel upon the very first startup. This code prevents access to the settings and blocks the system if the robot is moved or restarted. The i220 comes with a charging station and its power cable. This cable measures 8 meters, which is a decent length. Screws and a hex key are provided to secure the station into the grass. A kit of 6 spare blades is also present in the packaging, along with a setup guide. This model features built-in 4G and NRTK technology. It can therefore be used without an RTK base station. This makes its setup extremely fast because you only need to install the station, plug it into an outlet, and place the robot on it. In fact, no RTK base station is provided. In terms of maintenance, it is recommended to change the blades and screws every 2 months. Finally, be aware that there is a 3-year warranty on this model, which is reassuring regarding its durability. Now let's move on to the features. To configure the robot, you need to connect it to the Navimow application. This process went smoothly on our end, as did downloading the latest available software updates and sharing the application with a third party. Since the i220 is designed for large lawns of up to 2,000 square meters, it features Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 4G to connect to your smartphone and the internet. Navimow offers 1 year of free access to 4G data, and after this trial period, it costs around €30 to renew the annual subscription. This subscription includes NRTK geolocation, control via the application when the robot is out of Wi-Fi range, and the GPS anti-theft function. This subscription is not mandatory, but in our opinion, its price is reasonable given the features it offers. Furthermore, it is rare for such a large garden to be entirely covered by the Wi-Fi network. After connecting the robot to its application, you can map your lawn, either automatically or manually. As is often the case, it is more efficient to do it manually because the slightest peculiarity in your terrain can disrupt automatic mapping. You can then edit the map by defining off-limit zones or by dividing the lawn into different zones. The robot can be started to mow either the whole lawn or a specific zone. You can also control it manually via the application, as if it were a remote-controlled car. It is possible to schedule mowing for certain days and hours. The cutting height is adjustable from 20 to 70 millimeters in 5 millimeter intervals. And during its operation, you can follow the robot live on the application. Among other features, we find the log of tasks performed, settings related to the mowing direction and cutting along the edges, weather condition management, and changing the PIN code. We only regret that there is no option to mow exclusively the borders, nor to see through the camera to perform patrols. Nevertheless, in terms of safety, this model is complete. It is notably possible to activate an alarm when the robot is lifted or leaves its mowing zone. And during our tests, the lifting alarm worked well when activated. Let's get down to the practical side with our performance tests. Mapping our small 26 square meter test lawn went smoothly. We then added a second, more complex zone by connecting the 2 zones via a passage between vegetable planters. This manual mapping was very easy and intuitive. However, we noted that the robot had trouble finding the start of the path to return to its station from Zone 2. Next, to evaluate the cutting performance of the i220, we performed 2 tests on the flat zone. A first cut up to 7 centimeters, which is the maximum height of the robot, and then a second cut down to 5 centimeters. In both cases, the result was correct, with fairly methodical navigation and an even cut. The robot started with the edges and then moved closer to the center. The edges were mown quite well compared to other models. Regarding its speed on our 26 square meter surface, each cut lasted about 10 minutes. The robot, therefore, has a speed of around 2.6 square meters per minute, which is very efficient. We also tested obstacle avoidance by placing objects of different sizes on our lawn. The robot detected and avoided all the obstacles we put in its path: socks, a stuffed rabbit, and a ball. However, we found that obstacles were avoided from very far away, which disrupted the smoothness of its navigation. Then we checked if it could indeed climb slopes with a 45% incline, knowing that it is supposed to handle them up to 55%. And in fact, it managed it easily in manual mode, thanks to its all-terrain triple-drive wheel system. We then moved on to our tests in the second zone, where the terrain is significantly rougher. The robot managed to navigate to this second zone by handling the slopes along its way. However, its drive wheels tended to slip on steep slopes, and its navigation lacked smoothness when the ground was uneven. It also handled the descent well when returning to the first zone. Overall, it showed impressive power during our tests, but only when the terrain was completely flat. It is therefore a model capable of handling vast and sloped lawns, but without major irregularities. To conclude with performance, we noted that it was very quiet during operation. Finally, let's end this test by evaluating the battery life. This robot has a huge 10,000 mAh battery, allowing it to cover up to 2,000 square meters of land, according to the brand. During the test, in 20 minutes of mowing, it only lost around 10% of battery. It can therefore mow about 470 square meters per charge, which is exceptional endurance. Of course, when its battery level becomes low, it can recharge itself and then resume its task where it left off. The full charging time is 2 hours, and that is it for our test results. So to summarize everything, the negative points of the Navimow i220 LiDAR Pro are its minor difficulties handling uneven terrain and the inability to perform patrols via its camera. As for the positive points, its very good management of flat terrain, the fact that it can cover large areas up to 2,000 square meters thanks to its excellent battery life, its very good obstacle detection, its ultra-fast setup, its convenient NRTK technology, and its highly resistant IP66 design. And that concludes our test. Thank you very much for watching.